Embracing oral cholera vaccine, the shifting response to cholera. Definition: Cholera, a rapidly dehydrating diarrheal disease, is caused by ingestion of viral cholera, serogroup R1 or 139. The World Health Organization estimates that 1.4 billion people were at risk for cholera in 2012. More than 90% of recorded cases occur in Africa, and most of the remainder occur in Southern Asia.
Cholera is a bacterial infection which causes severe diarrhoea and dehydration. It can be fatal within hours if untreated. Thought to have originated in India's Ganges Delta, the disease began to spread worldwide during the 19th century and is now endemic in many countries, particularly in Africa, Asia and Latin America. Countries facing humanitarian crises such as conflict, extreme poverty or natural disasters are particularly vulnerable to cholera outbreaks due to the lack of access to clean water and proper sanitation. Infection is spread through drinking water or eating food contaminated with the cholera bacterium. The source is usually the feces of an infected person. With an incubation period of between 12 hours to around 5 days, outbreaks can take hold quickly.
Application in medicine. After sustained lobbying by multiple institutions and organizations, a pilot intervention was initiated in Haiti using OCV or oral cholera vaccine with other wash measures to control the outbreak or reactive vaccination. An urban project was conducted by the Haitian Group for the Study of Kaposi sarcomas and opportunistic infections, and a rural project was conducted by Partners in Health, both in collaboration with the Haitian Ministry of Health.
Here we have the second part of a donation of 1 million doses of cholera vaccine. This is an oral vaccine that is to be provided for the people who have been affected by Hurricane Matthew. The risk that we have after hurricanes have an increase of cholera cases, and so the vaccination is provided to the population to make sure that we don't have an epidemic that will come after the hurricane. We have seen an increasing number of cases in the country, and fortunately the vaccine has arrived very quickly so that those number of cases can be reduced. However, we have to know that that vaccine has an impact that is partial. So this means that it provides an immunization to the population, but it is not complete. It's not as other vaccines. So it is good. It is a good vaccine. It is an excellent one. However, it must be complemented by wash activities. So basically what it means is to ensure the population must wash their hands, must have access to clean water, must chlorinate that water at home to make sure that the intake they have of water is clean. Cholera is a diarrheal disease, so it's a waterborne disease. It is a disease transmitted by contaminated water and contaminated food.
Pros and cons. Pros. Liquid oral could not test the efficacy of 1 versus 2 doses of OCV. A one-dose regimen will reduce the cost and logistic contracts for national scale-up programs. Cons. In the study, by liquid oral, the vaccine was refrigerated during storage, but the cold chain was not maintained in the field.
Following the cyclone, a lot of the infrastructure was damaged, so people have limited access to clean water and sanitation, and the vaccine, this oral cholera vaccine, will help protect them from cholera.
Egypt plague in Ecuador. The first case of cholera was reported in Ecuador on February 28, 1991, a few weeks after Peru declared a cholera epidemic. It has been reported that an Ecuadorian fisherman traveled to Peru and was exposed to cholera. Upon his return to the town of Bajo Alto, El Oro province in Ecuador, the disease spread rapidly, leading to an epidemic.
At this hospital in the Cuban town of Manzanillo, 3 patients arrive complaining of stomach ailments. But doctors here are on the lookout for something far more deadly, a rare outbreak of cholera. Arisniel shows some of the symptoms.
This morning I was waiting for the bus and I threw up twice, so I came running here.
So far, El Evento, as it's called here, has claimed at least 3 lives and sickened over 110 people with cholera, doctors say. Many more people suffered from cases of severe diarrhea. For the first time, the Cuban government allowed cameras inside the hospitals at the epicenter of the outbreak, and for doctors to tell their stories to CNN.
The first day, 5 patients came and then 8. That's not normal that 5 people would come with the same symptoms. The most critical days were when there were 30 to 32 patients that arrived in a single day.
Cholera is a waterborne disease that is usually not fatal if treated. It was believed to have been eradicated in Cuba. But Cuban doctors say a hot
Conclusion. Cholera is a virulent infection disease characterized by gastroenteritis and is caused by ingestion of an enterotoxin-producing strains of the bacterium Vibrio cholera. Clinical presentation of cholera ranges from asymptomatic to severe diarrhea, vomiting, and dehydration.
Cholera is an acute diarrheal disease, and it's transmitted by what's called the fecal-oral route, which means that water or food that is infected with the Vibrio cholera, which is the bacteria that causes the disease, is then ingested or eaten or drunk by individuals, and that's how they get ill. Most cases, the people don't get very ill. They either don't really feel that they have any symptoms, or they'll have mild diarrhea. But in about 20 or 25% of those who do get diarrhea, it's very severe. They have severe diarrhea and often vomiting. The disease progresses very rapidly, so they can be fine in the morning and be very, very ill by the end of the day.